And what is the deal? What is happening? What is going on? You are back for another live episode of the Raider Rundown, man. And today, we're going to be just touching on a little bit about the Chargers game, wrapping that up, right? It's time to put that off in our minds. And then we're going to be touching on Baltimore, man. Keys to victory, like we always do, and what we got to look for. As you can see, I got Pops for a very special episode today.
What up, what up?
It's going to be a good one. So without further ado, man, let's get the intro started and let's get the show cracking. What is the deal, man? What is happening? Like I said, you are back for another episode of the Raider Rundown. Make sure you guys are tapping on the like button and hit on the subscribe button if it's the first time you want to hear some more of that content, man. So, like I said, man, we got Pops today. Look, it is not a live episode, so let y'all know that right now. All right, this is a recorded episode. So, you know, your boy usually get to the chats, usually get to the roll call and all that. But at the end of the day, you still know I got to shout it out. So, at the end of the day, all my people that's in the chat, man, you already know what the first segment is. That is. Roll call, man. It's not live, but at the end of the day, it's a shout out to all the people that is in the chat that is tapping in with the conversation. Gonna be a quick one today with Pops, but at the end of the day, man, glad to hear, man.
No doubt, man. Look, everybody, Rundown fans, you know what I'm saying? Rundown subscribers, we know we're trying to do it a little different today. You know what I mean? But it's always going to be that good Raider content, man. You know, we're going to sit up and talk about the Chargers for a minute, finish that week out, get that bad taste out of our mouth, you know, and then we'll roll on to Baltimore.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, still a little salty about it, but at the end of the day, you know, just because we could have won. But at the end of the day, like Pop said, we just got to wrap it up. So, you know, getting into it, I kind of gave my MVPs. You know, we kind of talked about it on Monday, I believe, right after the game. But just wrapping it up, right? We all know we got to do better. Certain players got to play better, but we're talking about that offensive line in particular.
Yeah.
Well,
you know that I think you hit it on the head. The offensive line, that's my number one subject. I mean, everything goes through the offensive line, and clearly they didn't show up to play on a physical level on Sunday. You know, as we were dominated by Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, even Punta Ford got off on us. So, you know, I'm looking for those corrections going forward because we won't do anything without that O-line. And Sunday, they just didn't show up.
So, looking at it, Marcus Johnson, shout out, you know, he's a friend of the channel, man. At the end of the day, posted some more stats about the offensive line. So, we're seeing it. Everybody on the starting offensive line has 60 total snaps. 41 of those were passing snaps. 19 of those were run snaps. As far as the pressures given up, once again, right, got to come to the forefront. When I was there, it looked like Dylan Parham didn't play well, but that's because Andre James played so poorly.
Although he graded out pretty good. I think he graded out 83 on PFF.
The center, Andre James, made Dylan Parham look worse than what he was. And as you see by the numbers here,
I don't know if I saw 83 in my honest opinion.
Nah, but he gave up 0 pressures. The next closest one, the best one, was Thayer Mumford with 1 pressure.
Right. I remember that.
Giving up most, Whitehair gave up 4. James gave up 3, which is atrocious for your center.
How many did Colton Miller give up?
2.
Okay. Seemed like he did worse than that.
But for your center to have the second most pressures is terrible. You can't do it. That can't happen. That's going to make other people look bad. So realistically, the worst offensive lineman was damn near Andre James or Cody Whitehair.
Well, we look back at the film on Monday. You know, we recorded the game and came home and watched it. And Andre James looked, for lack of a better term, he looked lost out there, reaching on blocks, missing assignments. Like that was surprising, man, because I just really thought that Andre James was going to take the next step this year. So for me, that was a disappointing start to the season for the offensive line.
A damn shame, really. I mean, because you re-signed him.
Yeah.
You re-signed him for big money. So at the end of the day, you look and you're like, all right, well, you know, we're hoping to get better production there, but it's not showing up. And Whitehair, for him being a veteran and everybody says the best he played is average, he's not going to hold out JPJ from coming in at any point.
No. So that would be I'm sure that's coming down the line. Don't know if it'll be this Sunday against the Ravens.
I view it like week 3, probably. My prediction.
Home
like,
opener. I see that. I see that.
Come in week 3.
Okay. So kind of wrapping up the Chargers thing. Also, let's get into a little bit of coaching as well. I felt like there was a lot of food left on the table. A lot of food left on the plate from a coaching aspect as well. For some reason,
it's like AP or just like the coordinators. Because looking back at it too, I think Getsy could have called a better game to help Gardner with the rollouts and all that. I mean, the fact that you only have 2 rollouts.
I think all of it, though. I look at it this way. I think all of it because there were some things that AP strategically wise could have done to help us out as well. And I'm not just talking about the 4th and 1, the fourth quarter. I'm talking about there were numerous first downs that could have been challenged to keep drives going. Like, for some reason, that sticks out of my mind because it seems like they were kind of blatant to me. Right. And no one on the coaching staff thought about saying, hey, wait a minute, man, that's a questionable spot there. And I think that happened about 3 or 4 times, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that kind of sticks out with me. Just some of the tactical errors that I felt like were made that could have helped the team continue and sustain drives.
Agreed. I mean, at the end of the day, we look back, there was the Tucker catch and there was a bunch of other ones where you're like, okay, we got to kind of, maintain drives. But then you're looking at Getsy. Getsy gotta be more in rhythm as a play caller, I believe. I mean, in tune with what the dudes are doing. Like I said, 2 play actions, and the only 2 play actions you run are for big chunk plays. Like, you got to continue to do that. You got to go what works and what your players do well. So that's on Getsy as well. But then you continue to look. It's both. I said it, after the game. You have a play caller who's all right, and then you have a quarterback who's all right. At the end of the day, like, when you have that, sometimes a play caller, and even this, a play caller is not always right. It's up to the quarterback sometimes to be like, I'm gonna make this right.
Exactly.
And we don't. I don't believe we have a quarterback that's going to, be like, all right, I'll make this play right. It is what it is. If it's bad call, it's a bad call. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it.
The good to great quarterbacks, they can overcome bad calls. With individual play. And I don't really think that we have that with Gardner. A few instances we saw where he kind of tried to get out of the pocket, tried to scramble, and he has a little bit of mobility for a quarterback, but at the same time, the one where he tried to scramble up the middle and Joey Bosa just got him by the shoelace. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much the ceiling of what we have athletically.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
as far as creativity.
The whole problem is where I have an issue is where people continue to be like, oh, he's going to get better. He's going to get better. If you take away the 1 turnover, it's 250 and a touchdown. That's a Gardner Minshew game. What are you expecting him to do? He's not going to throw 300 yards.
I will say this though, we did that going into the game. We were fine with 250,
right?
Because we all thought that the running game would be smashing.
But then this is the thing though. It's gonna be 250, but just look at how he gets to 250. It's not always it's black and white. Oh, the stats are 250. Like, it's like, the way he's getting this 250 is not impressive. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
which could have been a little different if we don't turn the ball over.
But like I said, like, take away the turnover. Even that, I'm like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, like that's the dude. Like, I'm just like, it's all right. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of turnovers as well, I need our defense to get some. As well.
Gotta play damn near perfect. Turnovers, man.
I was waiting Sunday for that interception. I was waiting Sunday for that miscue by the Chargers on offense because our defensive pressure was overwhelming. And I love the intensity that the defense played with, don't get me wrong, but we got to get the turnovers. Like the one that Trevon Merritt could have had. I know it was a difficult catch.
You got to get that.
But, those change the momentum in games.
That's the difference in teams and players. Yeah. Like, it's like, are you opportunistic when it comes to you? Like,
we gave the Chargers the ball enough times for it to come back to bite us in the ass.
Yep.
Right. Even though they had a putrid offense as well, except for going into the fourth quarter. So we have to start taking the football away on defense to give this offense a chance to get some rhythm as well.
Because if we don't, you know what I mean? I mean, it sucks because the defense got to play mistake-free.
Yeah.
They have to play perfect.
Yeah.
And that entails getting turnovers.
Yes.
Like, if the offense ain't going to get his rhythm as of right now and it's going to take 4 weeks like everybody talking about, the defense is going to get turnovers.
And also, you know what? Since we're talking D2 as well, this is going forward as well, not just the Charger game. You know, we're gonna have to look and see what's going on with some of these positions, man. I'm kind of down on Diablo early, and that's just me.
Well, we just gotta see what's. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's gonna take 4 weeks to get this right, we gotta, especially on Sunday.
But you know, I feel like Bernie, I feel like Gaynor offers a little bit more physicality.
Well, we'll see. I don't think he's gonna take him out, and that's what's the frustrating part.
I'm not looking for him to take him out. I'm looking for him to be platoon. I need some variation there.
But see, I don't even think that's gonna happen. That's my whole thing. Like we continuously wait. He needs to start turning what he did last year when he saw Marcus Peters not playing well, and he benched him.
Right.
Because like as of right now, I'm not seeing a lot of that. I haven't seen a lot of that.
Well, like I said, I'm not calling for benching, but I am calling for other people to come in and get some snaps at the position as well.
Because it would be different if like that was just. I mean, it is one game, but at the end of the day, they were saying the same problems in preseason, the same problems that arose, the same thing. That's what's concerning. Like if it's like, all right, it's just one game, it is what it is, and by all means, we can come out and win on Sunday. But it's just the fact that you see the same issues that you saw in the 3 preseason games.
Yeah.
Rear its ugly head in the first regular season game.
Honestly, to me, it felt like it just reared its ugly head in the fourth quarter. You know,
well,
because Dallas had 10 carries for 136 yards.
I think everybody but
that's the epitome of getting gashed.
Everybody but Turf was like, the defense is gonna be straight. I think Turf was the only one that was like, I don't know, but the defense is gonna be straight. And I think where it was is that people expected more from the offense.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be surprised because some of the beat writers and everything was saying, hey, this offense ain't right.
Right.
And I was even saying that getting later into the training camp, I'm like, dog, it's getting too late in training camp now for me to be like, oh, yeah, this is just the defense is that good. You feel what I'm saying? It's too late.
The running back position is definitely concerning me.
Next one, Alexander Madison should be getting more snaps this game.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Zamir didn't run tough. He didn't run low. He's got to be better. He's got to be.
Pad level was horrible.
Got to be better.
Vision was just as bad. So, if I'm Getsy, I'm like, okay, I'm getting you downhill and we're running power with you, Zeus.
Right.
You know, like all that stretch zone, the wide zone, he doesn't have the cutback vision for it consistently. So
I mean, we're gonna wrap up the Chargers week. What we're gonna say is, all right, obviously the defense played very well. It's hard. It's hard for them when they're on the field continuously, but on the flip side, we got to get that turnover.
Yeah.
You got to get that turnover. And we put it in our minds now at the end of the day. And we got to be better, more stout against the run. I will say they did have a little leaks before the fourth quarter, but we got to be a little bit more stout. As far as offense goes, everything needs to be better. Everything on the execution side, damn near on the play calling side, needs to improve if you're talking about that. So if we wrapping up the Chargers week, man, now you know what time it is, man. We got to go into Ravens week. So now, right, you know what segment it is when we talk about what is current with the Raiders. We got to get into the Raider Reasons, man. See what's going on, right? What has happened recently in the nation? What have the Raiders done since the last game, right? So, we got some signings to talk about. Number one, we got some moves that the Raiders have made. And I wish I had my graphics. If I was at the HQ, I'd have my stuff. But we're looking here, right? So number one, the Raiders, because of the edge depth, right? We're looking at Tyree Wilson, came off the field and out of the game with a knee injury last week.
That hurt. That hurt too.
Hurts the depth.
That definitely hurt.
Depth, man. So you see that. And then, we obviously lose Malcolm Coast. So that's 2 edge rushers in 1 week that you lose, right? Now you just left with Charles Snowden and Janaris Robinson. And they're okay, but they're not going to, I think we can get some more off of that.
There you go.
So the Raiders, in response to that, ended up signing former first-rounder Kayvon Chason. He was originally with the Jaguars. I believe he signed to the Lions, Seahawks, something like that this past year.
Practice squad,
yeah, and it didn't work out. So this is an experimental dude, in my opinion. A guy kind of like Janaris, where you bring him in and it's like, all right, let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
But it doesn't garner immediate return.
No, it doesn't move the needle. There's a reason why he was on the Seahawks and Panthers practice squads.
Right.
So basically, we're going to have to do that by platooning a few guys to play one position. So, yeah, schematically things are going to have to change now. We got, and one thing I tell people that gets lost on Tyree Wilson is that Tyree Wilson is a stout football player. He actually sets the edge better than people think in the run game. His physicality shows up. You know, I know we're all enamored by pass rush and get off, but he's a pretty good anchor in the run game, and he doesn't get pushed around. So that is a concern going into this game against Baltimore, because I know they're pretty good at tackle, even though their interior is not as good. Linebackers are going to have to be key to come in and fill. I think this might be a big week for a guy like Palomar to come in.
I mean, because they got Likely, you know, they got guys of that nature. I mean, but at the end of the day, like I said, I don't think it's going to garner immediate return. Especially this week. I don't see him playing this week, honestly, because you just signed him. You about to play Baltimore. Like, it don't make no sense. So you might as well get Snowden out there, have Robinson out there.
Snowden didn't have a bad game.
No,
he was active. I feel like we're a little light, though.
I feel like a lot of everybody calling for Unique, and the only reason you don't get Unique, in my opinion, is because you know Kuntz and them is coming back. Right. So you're like, all right, I don't need a dude that's gonna start like damn near the whole season for real.
And maybe that's a sign that's why, like you said, they didn't go out and get him because they feel like those guys. I think
maybe just get a dude with some upside and say, all right, let's see.
I think they said Tyree just has a knee sprain or something like that. So
he out this week, probably back next week. So,
you know, so like let's just hope for good news on that level. Like I said, linebackers are going to be real key, real important. That's why I was saying earlier about Bernie and Gaynor. You need guys that's going to kind of be physical around that line of scrimmage. Gaynor has really good instincts as a run defender, right? As you saw in the preseason. I'm a firm believer if a guy flashes the talent, get him out there. Let's see. We'll find out this week.
Honestly, to me, I think now we're going into there. So we signed Chase on. Like I said, I don't think he starts. And then you go into it. We also signed another corner, Blue. The Blue. He's practice squad. At the end of the day, bro.
Secondary's not
secondary wasn't a concern to me. Secondary played damn near the best.
One thing that does concern me though, what does that mean for DK and Richardson?
That could be where the move really makes sense because he was not active and he's had some hamstring issues, I believe. So,
right.
And a dude with speed, you know, with that hamstring, that's something that you don't want to linger. So at the end of the day, you see that. Maybe that is a correlating move, so that is good. That is good that you brought that up. So that might be correlating.
I know we doing a little condensed show here. So let me ask you a couple things real quick. First one, how are we defending Lamar?
Gotta keep
how are we defending that Baltimore offense?
Keep him in the pocket. Number one, he's got to stay in the pocket, and number two, force him to be a pocket passer. I mean, that's the only thing. He's got to be a pocket passer. Because you see, he can throw the ball. I'm not one of them dudes that's like, oh, he's a running back or he can't throw. Because he can throw. But at the end of the day, if he's just drop back, he's not one of those that is just going to drop back every game. Right. So you got to keep him in the pocket. It's easier said than done, bro. But, I'm looking at Max. I'm looking at some of these dudes because they like to get, undisciplined in these rush lanes, bro. You cannot get undisciplined in your rush lanes this week. It's not going to work.
There's a part of me that feels like we might have Lamar running for his life back there.
I get it, but at the end of the day, we can't be undisciplined.
Yeah, but I feel like we might have him running for his life. And also, a part of me is like, okay, how are we going to defend Zay Flowers as well? Because he gets a heavy workload.
Him, I'm not really worried about because at the end of the day, I think our secondary can match up with their receivers. Honestly, their receivers. I don't really like their receivers outside of Zay. Zay is the only one.
Scheme-wise, though, scheme. It's not really their individual abilities because, like you said, they don't have the greatest individual receivers.
But see, their scheme didn't really...
Scheme-wise, that can be a problem, especially when plays break down.
You know what I'm going to say? Honestly, because you're worried about Zay Flowers. I'm not really worried about Zay. The person that, worries me is Likely. That's the one that I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do because... I think, Hobbs against Zay, I think we can do something with that. I like that. That's a good little matchup.
I do too.
But I don't know who's going to cover Isaiah Likely. I don't know. You can, now is the, like you said, Palomar, bring him in and let him do. But see, I ain't seen him yet. I ain't seen him last week.
I feel like there's some versatility on the defense. And like I said, that would be one chess piece to bring in a Palomar.
But it's easier said than done. That dude is killing the Chiefs. last week. So like the thing is, it's like he's not just no tight end.
But a lot of that was on broken plays as well. You know, Lamar scrambling. You know, then he comes up and he finds a guy. So
that goes into the thing of keep him in that pocket.
And we got to stay attacked.
If you keep him in that pocket, he doesn't have time to move around because his receivers know how to play the scramble drill.
Here's a game for Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Because of Max Crosby's pursuit and his ability to close distance quickly, those are the kind of guys that can give Lamar more problems.
Agreed.
You understand? So that matchup right there, I think he'll be able to take better advantage of the tackle matchup than he did with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater.
And honestly, I don't think he played that terrible. Watching some of the film, the dude, he's not really rushing. He's not being like complete Mad Max. At the end of the day, he ain't got nobody on the other side.
And Christian Wilkins balled out. I feel like the D-line's going to have an excellent game.
Now, that's where I feel like we can get the advantage because Baltimore's interior didn't look all that good.
If we can cause havoc on that D-line, we got a real good chance to beat Baltimore.
Now, so you look at the keys on defense, right? You got to keep Lamar in the pocket, make him a pocket passer. Don't let him run the scramble drill with his receivers, right? At the end of the day, now we're looking at the run game. I mean, the RPO run game for them, they're going to try to use it now. They're going to try to be like, all right, we can ground and pound.
Of course.
So we're going to have to be stout. But then, right, it all goes back to the keys on the offense. What do we have to do on offense to stay on the
I'll tell you this, and this goes for any team. We know that this goes for any team. It's football. But some teams more than others. And Baltimore is a team that's a more than other when it comes to trying to get them in third and long distance.
Yep.
Right? Like that's one of the biggest keys to playing Baltimore is trying to get them in the third and long where Lamar has to make passing decisions defensively. Yes.
Wait, what about offensively? Like, what do we need to do offensively? Because that's the thing. Like,
well, hey, we all know what the secret recipe is, and that's run the damn football.
Because for me, honestly, I worry about our interior.
Hey, I'll tell you this as well, though. There's going to have to be a point where you challenge the ball deep. You cannot. Yeah. I mean, Kansas City beat them over the top a couple times with Worthy.
You got so. I mean, we got the speed. We got to challenge them. But I mean, it all, like you said, it stems from the run game. Our interior, and I'm particularly looking at that left side. They have to play well because they have Michael Pierce and Justin Madubuike. These are two dudes that against what we are weak at. As you look at Andre James, and you look at Whitehair, they're going to take advantage of them too.
But like I told you last week, I said, I told you after the game,
I said, he's a terrible center.
Going forward, this is a game that we're going to find out early about our team, about our philosophy on physicality. We're going to find out about execution because, okay, you got a week's worth of game film. I know you want to throw that shit out, but you got a week's worth of game film, and we can all see that there was no execution whatsoever, especially on the offensive line. So execution needs to be stressed the whole damn week. Execute.
Because the stunts will come. I mean, and then you think about this, not only is their first level good, I mean, Roquan go come in with his hair on fire. Zamir, you running like, for lack of better words, you running soft. You feel what I'm saying? You gonna get your ass laid out next week. 100%.
By another Georgia dog.
He's not coming here playing. And if you look at last week, he came off last week pissed. So he's not coming in playing, bro. I need physicality.
Hey, y'all, pay attention to this shit too. One of the things that plagues Baltimore and Kansas City took great advantage of it is they use their aggressiveness against him.
That's true.
They constantly use their aggressiveness against him. Like, did you guys see how many toss plays that they did to the wide receivers? Now, reverse toss plays to the wide receivers. They inside the red zone and they doing a reverse toss to Xavier Worthy.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you though. Now this week, it's not gonna be I'm not gonna say it's not. But I know what they're going to do as far as Brock Bowers, because they saw last week, and if they were smart,
Roquan will be on him.
No, Kyle Hamilton is going to be on him. That's because at the end of the day, bro, he's going to kill Roquan. If Roquan is covering him the whole game, he's going to kill him. It's going to be Kyle Hamilton because he at least going to have to see him a couple times. So Mayer to me needs to be the guy that separates. I think Devontae gonna do a thing.
And Trey Tucker needs to be utilized.
Trey Tucker needs to be utilized. I think this is a game for Trey Tucker, and Michael Mayer to do their thing this week because they got guys that can match up with our guys. You see, Devontae gonna have to go against Marlon Humphrey, and I'm not saying Marlon Humphrey gonna shut him down, but he's one of the better corners in the league. So you're gonna get some give and take off that. I think Jacoby can eat because
He
he's
can
going
eat
against
too.
a receiver. He's going against a rookie over there.
He can eat too.
He's going against a rookie.
You know, so but like it goes back to execution. Y'all got to fucking execute it, and that just has not been the case.
And Gardner.
And that's the most frustrating thing about it, man. It's just the lack of execution.
And this is what really scares me, Gardner. You cannot turn the ball over this week. If we turn the ball over this week, it's going to get ugly. Because we're not good enough to turn the ball over in Baltimore and beat Baltimore. We're not good enough to do that. So we need to play mistake-free. And if anybody makes a turnover, it's got to be our defense.
And you know Papa Rundown always going to give you, a little bit of that philosophy. Because football is, it's about scheme, it's about X's and O's, but it's also about fundamental attitude and philosophy as well. And I'm big on that when it comes to football. So I tell y'all like this, man. I want to know where AP is with the pulse of this team, like I said a few days ago.
Yep.
I need to know how we showing up to this motherfucker.
That's me.
How we rolling up? How we pulling up to this motherfucker on Sunday, dog?
That's me.
Because if we coming out here to get pushed around and smacked around, shit don't look good to me. And that's the smell test for me. And so, I need to see the physicality show up. If physicality don't show up, then what we doing?
So realistically, we looking right. It's a condensed show today. Not a live show. So once again, the comments should be rolling, but it's not a live. Had to do a little quick one. But we still got to get it in for what? You already know, the final rundown. So final segment of the day, man, the final rundown, man. You already know this is where, if you're new to the show, this is where we wrap up what we need to do for the week coming up, right? All the moments, all the things that are going into this week. Because like I always say, right, and Pop taught me this, sports, football about moments, right? And it's always about, every week is a moment. Every football week is a story or a chapter in the story, right?
There it is.
So last week, we talked about, all the stuff, everybody's talking about we going to be 5-11, whatever the case, right? Be trash. We ended up dropping that game last week. We dropped the opportunity to already show people that we're on a different level on the court, right?
Word.
Now, this week is another one, a bigger opportunity this week. If you want to look at the positive side, this is a bigger opportunity to now sit here and say, okay, last week wasn't really all that good, but this week we can go ahead and bounce back and really show people what type of team this can be when we're clicking on all cylinders.
Well, to be honest with you, I feel like after 2 games, most of Raider Nation probably thought we were going to be 1-1 anyway.
1-1.
But, now it's just, that's been kind of made a little harder, and it's got to be done in reverse order. But it can be done. Think about it. We come in here, I don't give a damn, we win this game by 2 points. We come in here and squeak this one out, man. All is forgiven from last week.
Yep.
There's a vision, there's a focus.
Yep.
We got Carolina, Cleveland, and Denver coming up, if I'm not mistaken.
And, we get something like this, next week we go in with supreme confidence.
So, but I'll be honest with you, if I didn't say that Sunday's loss was deflating just because of the way it transpired. But, hey, on to the next week. Let's see if AP has the team fired up. I won't say fired up. That's too cliche. Let's see if he has the team ready to go in that motherfucking bang. Because that's what it's going to take when we go to Baltimore. Let's see if they're ready to go in there and bang and manifest everything that's been spoken about in this offseason. Because that's what I was looking for on Sunday. That's what I'm looking forward to this Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm on right now. So it's all about attitude, right? At the end of the day, even if you go in there and it ain't the outcome we want, it's how it looks, right? How does it look? And he said it himself. AP said it himself. How it look, how it smell, you know what I mean? All that. So at the end of the day, we will see. And speaking of that, he's live right now. So speaking of that, man, we go ahead. That's the end of the show. Real quick one, but don't trip. I'm going to have a little bit more lives coming up this week. Got one more game here in Cali that I'm going to be here for. After that, I'll be back at the HQ, so you'll get more Papa Rundown.
Oh, yeah, we're doing it Sunday, y'all.
Yep.
We're doing it Sunday.
More Papa Rundown. We're going to go ahead and still pump out the lives. Got Turford Rundown, but it's going to be a new time. So make sure you guys are tapped in for that. It's going to be all over my socials. But until then, man, you already know what time it is. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You know we always say here, man, we keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground here on the Raider Rundown. Peace.